So the first part of goal setting is making sure that your goal is specific. You want to know how much of what. Your goal should be as specific as you can possibly make it, so there's no gray area on whether or not you have attained what you want to attain. So for instance, let's say the goal you're thinking about setting is in regards to retail. And let's say you average $200 a week in retail, and you know that the cost of each product is approximately $20 a product. So you know you're selling about 10 products a week to hit that 200 mark. Well, let's say you want your goal to be $300 a week in retail, and maybe you want that goal to be $300 a week in retail because you're really focusing on educating your clients behind the chair, letting them know what to do and what to use with product, so that when they go home they can not only help themselves but help to recreate that style that you've helped them create within the salon. So you know now that your goal is $300. That means you've gone from about $40 a day if you're working a 5-day week to $60 a day. And you also know that in order to do that, you need to sell about one more product per day, because you know each product is about $20. So if you sell one product per day, you know you're gonna hit that goal, or one more product per day, you're gonna hit that goal, you're going to be specific about it, you know the reasons, and you know how much of what. Okay, so the second step in setting goals is making sure that your goal is measurable. You wanna know where you're at all times and whether you're on the right track to hitting your goal. So if we revert back to what we said about the retail goal, your retail goal is to sell $300 per week so that you can educate your clients, making sure that you're giving them the necessary tools to recreate that look at home. So you know that every day you want to do at least $60 a day in retail sales to hit that $300 mark for the week. Well, if on Tuesday you only do $50 in retail sales, which is great because you're up $10 from your $40, but you're still not on track for hitting your goal, at least you're now aware of that, and you know that during the week you need to make up that $10 somewhere. So that on Wednesday maybe you come in and maybe you have a few more clients that you've never sold retail to, so you really want to educate them on what to do and what to use, and you make up that extra $10 so that you're hitting $70 that next day, which will then put you in line to hit your goal. You've measured it, you knew where you were at, you know where you want to go, and now you're on track to hit that goal and be successful. Does that make sense? So keep it up, make it measurable. Okay, now the third step in setting goals is making it achievable or attainable. And the best goals require you to stretch yourself a bit, but don't make it extreme. It can't be too much. So let's revert back to the same example that we've been using. If you're averaging about $200 a week in retail, and you're frustrated with that, and all of a sudden you're just like, well, I'm going to do $800 a week in retail. Well, that's not really an achievable or attainable goal, right? Because you know that where you're at is $200, and to jump up $400 or $600 in 1 week, it's not going to be realistic. And so let's make sure that it's achievable and attainable, so you don't set yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for success. So we start small, and we aim to get better and bigger. So remember, the third step is to make it attainable or achievable. Okay, now we're on to the fourth one, and the next one is relevant. Is it relevant? Is your goal relevant to you? What's your reason? What's your purpose? What's the benefit of you hitting this goal? So if we revert back to this same scenario, if your goal is to hit that $300 in retail a week, you know, maybe the reason for it is that you know that if your clients are purchasing retail from you, that you've done everything and you've given them a full service. You've educated them on the tools to use to solve their problems. You know, they're coming to you with those problems, and we need to be looking at it, what is in it for them, not in it for us. What's in it for our clients? And if we're able to solve those problems for them, and they're able to buy that retail and really help themselves solve those problems, well, maybe that's your purpose, that's your reason, that's your benefit. Then you have clients that are going home, they're happy, they're sending you referrals because they're stoked on their hair and other people are stoked on their hair, and it's just the relevance behind it. So ultimately, what is the reason of you accomplishing this goal? So maybe your reason isn't to just make more money, maybe it's to build a better clientele. So remember, the fourth one is relevance. Okay, so the last component of setting goals and to make it smart is time bound. Goals must have a starting point and an ending point, and also fixed duration, so moments in between where you're kind of checking in. That you've got to commit to deadlines, and without deadlines or schedules, then it can just kind of get overtaken by your day-to-day routine. So you need to make sure that when you're setting a goal that you have a timeline. So whether it's a week, a day, a month, it could be a year. You could set a SMART goal for the entire year and then break it down month by month and break that SMART goal down week by week. So the last component of setting a SMART goal is to make it time bound. So for instance, let's revert back to what we were just talking about. Your retail goal was $200 per week. So that's giving you $300 per week and $50 per day. So now you've made it time bound. The end of the month, you know that there's about 4 weeks in a month. So that's going to bring you to $1,200 a month, $300 a week, $50 per day. When we break it down like that, we make it time bound. It's a much easier process to comprehend, to grasp around, and it's just going to make your overall bottom line just awesome and amazing. Okay, so now that we've covered all the components of setting goals, just a quick recap. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. If you do these things, if you break it down into these simple steps, it's going to be so much easier for you. I'd like to give you an example. We have a stylist at our salon, and one of the goals that she had when we sat down and met with her at one point was she really wanted to hit $1,000 in one day in services. So we talked about it, we sat down, we talked about how could we help her to get to that point, and what were some of the things that we needed to look at. And so we started looking at her days and upcoming days, and how far away was she from hitting that goal? Was it even realistic? And we found out that we felt like it was realistic. And we set these goals, and every day she looked at her books and she looked at her tickets and her service dollars, and she figured out what she needed to do to upsell. And she'd never hit 1,000 a day in her whole career. She'd been a stylist for about 6-7 years. And finally, one day she looked at her day. She was at about an $800 day, and she knew what she had to do to add on, to upsell, to make those service dollars to hit her goal. And she did it. She nailed it, and it was awesome. The feeling that she got and the accomplishment that she made was amazing. And not only that, it's been 3 months since she did that, and in those 3 months she's done it 4 more times. So setting those goals and making it achievable and attainable and making sure that you focus on it, it happens. It can happen, and it will happen. Just remember, you want to measure how much of what by when. You want it to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And you want to make sure that you're just better off tomorrow than you are today. So thank you so much for making Brill Schoolhouse a part of your day, your life, and your career. And please, please, please remember to just make each day your masterpiece. Please, if you have any questions, follow us at Brill Hair on Periscope and Twitter, at Brill Hair Lounge on Instagram, and Facebook.com/Brill Hair. For our Facebook account. If you have any questions, you can contact us at brill.com/contact. My personal email is Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, @brill.com. I'd love to have any feedback, any other topics that you'd like to discuss or get input on. We would love to talk to you about. We'd love to bring in others, team members of ours, a guest services team, stylist team, associate team. So if you have any questions for them, maybe they can help answer those questions as well. Thank you so much once again, and remember, make each day your masterpiece.